Welcome to Hope Happenings. This show is made possible by Channel 3 and the Hope Center. Well, I can't believe that 2015 is over.
I know.
It went so fast.
It went very quickly.
You guys agree that every year goes faster than the year before?
I do. Growing up, my mom would always say, appreciate the time you have, because as you get older, the years seem to go faster. And I just kind of, whatever, Mom, you don't really take those words. But as I've gotten older, I find myself saying, man, she was right. It just seems that each year, each month even, just seems to go quicker and quicker.
Just fly by.
Yeah, it does.
Well, like when we were in school, didn't summer vacations seem to last forever? Mm-hmm. And now, I know
as
they
adults,
get half the time off, but like summer's over and it's fall, and it seems like it should just be Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think with kids too, I've noticed the older my son gets, the faster time goes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And now with working a lot, and then him growing up and being in sports and active after school, it seems like there's never a break. And before you know it, the next month has already came and gone, and November has already came and gone, and it's like, how I didn't even get to enjoy November. And it's already over.
I really hope December kind of takes its time next year and doesn't just like.
Everybody's so busy in December, and then when we get to this January, where there's not too much going on in January. It's bitter cold outside. It's dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. So, being at home's a novelty. I enjoy being at home.
Yes.
Well, January is Sanctity of Human Life Month, and we wanted to explain what that means. So the phrase sanctity of life reflects the belief that people are made in God's image, and Genesis 1:26 tells us that. Human life should be protected and respected at all times.
Many of people apply sanctity of life to issues such as abortion. And while it does not apply to all of those issues, it does apply to much, much more.
The sanctity of life should motivate us to stand against all forms of evil and injustice against human life. Violence, abuse, and human trafficking are also violations of the sanctity of life.
I think we see those violations a lot in the news.
We do.
Lately.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is really sad.
Yeah.
But, January, we can celebrate the life of a child. And we are participating once again. This is our 18th year with celebrating Sanctity of Life. And January, Sanctity of Life happens on the same Sunday every month, and this month it's the 17th. And the Hope Center will be doing something new. We always have a prayer visual, but we are going to light up Central Avenue, and we're going to do that at 5 p.m. on January 17th, and we're going to have a prayer visual, and then we're also going to have an open house where you can come and have hot chocolate, get out of the cold. Hopefully it won't be too cold. Last year it wasn't that bad. We could bear the winds, but hopefully this year won't be too bad either. And so we want to invite everyone to come and enjoy the prayer visual. Usually lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we'll have hot chocolate and cookies to warm you up afterwards.
Well, sounds fun. Yeah. So the Hope Center honors and observes the sanctity of life every January, as you said. And this month, you'll see baby bottles out in churches and different organizations. And I'm pretty excited that we had 30 organizations and churches participating last year. That's exciting. That's a great partnership. So we appreciate all of the churches and organizations that partner with us. And so speaking of partnering with us in the church, coming up next, we'll have Pastor Don Miller in the studio with us, and he'll talk about his church filling up the bottles of hope.
Cradles Child Care at the Hope Center offers a loving environment for children of high school students, college students, and our working parents. We accept infants 2 weeks of age to 3 years old. If you are looking for a low-cost childcare, please contact 825-1244 or visit our website at hopecenterconnersville.com. Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Don Miller from Bentonville Christian Church, and we're so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Don, if you could, just tell us a little bit about your church, your congregation, and what goes on at your church.
Okay. First, I would like just to say to you that I've watched your show for several months, and your shows have gotten better and better.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're more relaxed, and it seems like you're just kind of, all of this kind of come together. Part of my responsibility when I was at Connersville High School was to plan the senior scholarship night, and it was always an adventure to do that because we would have like 40 people that night would come through and make a presentation. And this one lady, I could tell she was really distressed about doing this. And so trying to calm her down, I said to her, well, there's 1,000 people out here in the audience, and there's probably 10,000 people watching this on cable television. And she says to me, here, you do it, and walked away. So that technique didn't work. And if there's 10,000 people out there listening to us, well, I hope they enjoy our program today.
I hope so. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved at Bentonville Church?
Well, the Hope Center has always been a project that I have, my wife and I both have personally been involved in. I took the training a number of years ago, I never did do the actual counseling because I went there one time as a high school counselor to visit, and there were some people there that I had just talked to at school that day, and so I realized this probably didn't work out real well. So now I've tried to be a supporter in different ways, and I think this is the fourth year that Bentonville's been involved in the baby project. And this year, I think our people got involved in it more, and we had some people that put bigger donations, and then also our board gave a fairly large contribution to that. We're a small church, 25 to 35 people, 35 on good days, 25 normally, sometimes less than that. But the baby bottle was just something that we promoted, and we prayed about it as a congregation, and we would do our prayers on Sunday, and we would mention the Hope Center and the good work that they do. And of course, Andy Akins is one of your workers here, and 1 August, the Hope Center asked ministers to give names of people that might be interested, and they had a banquet at Calvary Baptist to do that. And so I invited, just by a chance, I invited Andy to go to that. And she was just waiting for that kind of invitation. So I just was thinking about, I'd like to do that. And so she's been a part of your group since that time. And that's really one of our success stories as far as the Bentonville Christian Church is putting Andy Akins here with your group.
Yeah, she does a wonderful job along with all of our volunteers,
Yeah.
and we're happy to have her.
And I just was talking to you about that. If the people out there, anyone out there, wants to get involved in the Hope Center, don't wait until an invitation. Call and say, I'd like to be a part of this. There's a lot of different jobs that can be done. You have a lot of people who do that kind of work for you, and it's very, very essential that you have people to do that. Not only the supporters financially, but just the people that come. Your banquet that you had this recently, we bid on a pan. And we got it.
Yeah.
I snuck back in there and bid again on the silent auction. And last night, for the first time, my wife fixed pizza burgers on that great big pan. And it was a good pan. So that was a good investment that we made at the silent auction.
Good.
And you allowed me to sing a song that night. And I really, and thankful you did that. You'd never heard me sing at all, so I could have come in there and yodeled away and been maybe not a very good job doing that, but you let me sing a song called Little Hope, and I'd just like to read the words of the song. It's just a tremendous song. It means a lot to me because my mother, her middle name was Hope, and we have a granddaughter, and her middle name is Hope, but she goes by Hope as her name that she uses. So this song is called A Little Hope. It goes like this. She was looking back on 30 with no regrets except for one small thing. She had promised him a family the day she said I do and changed her name. But the doctor said there would be no babies. That hurt her more than words could ever say. But as she turned to leave, she met a lady who who cared enough to take her hand and pray. And that gave her a little hope, a little something to hold on to. She caught a glimpse of heaven, and her tears began to flow. A simple prayer can do more than you know. It gave her a little hope. When she got home, she dusted off her Bible. When she saw those words, she read them right out loud. Yeah, it says right here, I can move a mountain if I believe it in my heart without a doubt. So on her knees, she bowed her head that morning. Then she told him what she had to say. When she got up, her burden felt much lighter. Her heart told her the answers on the way. And it gave her a little hope, a little something to hold on to. She caught a glimpse of heaven, and her tears began to flow. A simple prayer can do more than you know. It gave her a little hope. In less than a year, on a Saturday morning, the 14th of July, when the nurses walked in, it was like angels singing when she heard her baby cry, and they named her Little Hope, a little something to hold on to. She held that gift from heaven, and their tears began to flow. A simple prayer can do more than you know. It gave her a little hope. I think the Hope Center gives a little hope to people in our community, and I think that song just kind of explains that to anyone who would listen and read that song. You know, hope is so important for us in the world. I think your name is just an ideal name for what you do. You give hope to young people in our community, and I would just compliment you on that, on what you do each and every day.
Well, thank you very much. And that song is very special, and I can definitely relate to the words in that song. And I know that there are many out there that can. And we do try and provide hope to every single person that walks through our doors. And it is, it's wonderful to see how we can help in this community. And we love how churches such as yourself and the pastors who have been a part of the Hope Center for so many years, and it really does mean a lot to see that support in the community coming together and helping an organization just like the Hope Center.
Yeah. I think churches, it's just a matter of getting the bottles and then just talking about them. Just mention them every week, how you doing on your bottles, and during your time of prayer, pray for the Hope Center and what it does. The name is so important, and what they do is so important. It's a matter of just keeping out there. Now, the next year, I'm not sure how we're going to do on our baby bottle program unless you would allow the monthly commitment to be used for baby bottles, because our church is committed after the banquet. A couple of members of the board of directors were there, and they decided to do a monthly contribution to the Hope Center. So now they've maybe taken that money away from the baby bottle, but if you'll allow that money to be counted, and probably will, but we're just going to have to try to boost them more and say, we've already done this, we've already made this commitment.
Yeah.
But it actually, when you think about that, the baby bottle program led to a monthly contribution. And not only from the church itself, but from other individuals in our congregation, which that means that you've got money that is going to come in for the entire month, other than the baby bottles. You don't really know when you put those out what kind of commitment you're going to have, and whether they're going to be 5 pennies or
Right.
$500 in those bottles. So,
right. The January baby bottle drive is for Sanctity of Life, because Sanctity of Life happens every January, and it helps people in the community support life. And so that's why this month we have passed out the bottles to all the churches and asked them to participate in the Sanctity of Life bottle drive. The monthly donations, that is wonderful, and we would love for more organizations or churches or even individuals be a part of the monthly giving, because with monthly giving, we know that money is going to come in each and every month, and then we can plan for our programs, and we know that money is there to help support the mothers or the fathers who come in every single day to our center, and we know that that money is going to be there each month, and we can count on that. And so with the bottle drive, and that just gives us a little bit of extra money to get through with the programs that we have. And we have an ultrasound machine now, and so that is our way to be able to help girls in the community see the window to their room, and see their baby and see the beating heart. And that's what the Sanctity of Life is all about, and letting and helping these mothers see their baby.
You know, and the program you have with Cradles, from my background as a high school counselor, there were many instances of young families, especially the girls, who had difficulty going to school because they couldn't balance the two things. And I think your program has provided a way for that to happen. And you know, one of the best things for a young girl is to get her education finished, and that provides them an opportunity to be able to do that physically, where they can have their baby come and still go to school and finish their education. So that is an important service from my background that I know is beneficial to them. You know, in your annual banquet, you know, there are people. And if you invite me to be a host, tell anybody out there who wants to come next year, let me know. I'll put him at my table. I was missing two people from my table. I thought somebody was going to come, and then they didn't, and then I just was kind of dilatory and didn't fill that other table. So if you're out there and want to come, give me a call, and I'll have you be on my table, or Andy's table, or Emily's table, or Jennifer's table, or whoever, because it's you know, your way of informing the community what you do, and then also at the same time gently asking for support in that way. A good program, you know, and I think, you know, ministers, just keep asking your congregation, and to make sure that you have the Hope Center in your prayer life at your church. Prayer can make a big difference in people's lives. I've kind of, just a short story. We're okay on short stories?
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, prayer is really powerful. I preached outside of Fayette County, ministered for about 16 and a half years, and I was at Bethel Christian Church north of Richmond, and John Heflin was the minister at the Bentonville Christian Church. And John had a long-term illness, and he was a friend of mine, and he was on our prayer list at Bethel. And the Sunday that after he died, I prayed from the pulpit at Bethel Christian Church that the Bentonville Christian Church would find a good match for their minister. And that was a good prayer to pray. And about a month later, I got a call from a fellow from the Bentonville Christian Church wanting to know if I would be interested in filling the ministry at Bentonville Christian Church. Well, I couldn't hardly say no to that, but I'd prayed that they'd find a good match. And whether I'm a good match or not, I guess we don't know, but I've been there for 4 years. So, you know, prayer is powerful. And in that case, I was the answer to that prayer, that they thought I was the answer to the prayer. And I guess the jury's still out about whether it is or not, but I've been there quite a while in that regard.
Think you're doing a great job.
So we've done some good things in this way. So, you know, prayer's powerful.
It is.
And,
It definitely
no doubt.
is. And we ask that you continue to keep the Hope Center and our clients and our staff and our volunteers in your prayers, and in your church congregation, that they continue to pray for us. And I encourage all the churches out there and individuals to be praying for us as well. And especially now this month, Sanctity of Life, be praying for those mothers who might be in that delicate situation on finding out that they're pregnant and they're not sure what their decision is or what they're supposed to be doing. And I ask that you just keep those people on your thoughts and in your prayers this month, because this is a very special month where we can talk about and promote the life of a child that was given to us by God. And Don, I'm so excited and so thankful that you were able to come in And, you know, last year in 2015, for Sanctity of Life, your church raised the most money with the bottle drive of $886.78. And so that's wonderful. And that money definitely went to a wonderful cause at the Hope Center. And we want to encourage churches this month to try and reach that goal, or even make it a goal that you know that you can do. $800 is such a wonderful goal, and just think if we got that from all the 30 churches that participate in Sanctity of Life, what a huge blessing that would be to the Hope Center and to those in our community.
Well, on behalf of Bentonville Christian Church, I appreciate your kind words. And again, I would challenge others, individuals and churches to gather around the Hope Center and do the best they can this next year.
Thank you, Don, so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
The Hope Center is always looking for new partners. If there is a particular area of the center that touches your heart, that's where you should donate your time, talent, and treasure. $25 sponsors an individual through our Healing Hearts Grief Support Program. $45 sponsors an ultrasound scan for a mother. $90 sponsors 1 week of childcare for a single mom. $175 sponsors one woman to go through all programs from pregnancy to birth. $500 sponsors our budget for 1 day. Any gift given could be the catalyst that saves an unborn life. Please call the center at 825-1244 or visit our website at hopecenterconnersville.com and click on Donate. Thank you for watching Hope Happenings.
Visit our website at hopecenterconnersville.com.
Remember, hope can change everything. We would like to leave you with a video from Focus on the Family called Dignity of Human Life.
God created mankind in His own image. He created them male and female in the image of God.
Like a set of new glasses that helps us see the world with greater clarity.
Seeing people through God's eyes changes how we respond to them.
From the formation of a child's first tiny cell to life's final breath, all life has dignity and value.
Because each and every one of us is made in the image of God.
And that is why, when we talk about being pro-life, it's not just about a political issue.
It's a worldview. It's a life view. It's a way of looking at each
human life that transcends culture, class, race,
age, and opinion, knowing that we are all uniquely created in the image of God.
The sanctity of human life is deeply rooted in Scripture and modeled
through the life of Jesus Christ, who said,
"Whatever you did for the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me."
When we begin to see others as God sees them, we're moved to care more deeply about those created in His image, and we will live each day in a way that honors our Creator.
We won't see the Scriptures as mere words, but as commands to express His heart through our actions.
Commands like speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves.
And ensure justice for those being crushed. Or love your neighbor as yourself.
The sanctity of human life speaks to ancient questions that span all of time and every culture.
Questions like, who is God? Who am I? Who is my neighbor?
Jesus responded to those questions with the story of the Good Samaritan, who saw another man who was broken and bleeding.
And instead of looking the other way as others had, he stopped
and cared for that man, even at great cost to himself.
Jesus said, go and do likewise.
Don't be silent in the face of injustice, but be a voice
for those who cannot speak for themselves.
Let us shine a light on practices that distort human dignity,
like human trafficking and the cycle of poverty that limits God-given potential and dreams.
Make sacrifices to meet the needs of those dying preventable deaths because they lack food, medicine, and clean water.
Embrace those with special needs as a special reflection of the image of our Creator God.
Let us see people as God sees them.
Seeing their needs and having mercy on them, because every person is made in the image of God.
So, reach out to orphans in distant lands or the foster child in our own backyard
who is waiting, hoping, and praying for a family to call their own.
Maybe not pass judgment on the woman facing an unexpected pregnancy,
but surround her with support, helping her to
see the child growing within her as a unique person with a life as valuable as her own.
Let us care for the widow in distress and loneliness.
And let us befriend those in prison.
Let us rejoice in the image of God as expressed through various skin colors and ethnic traditions,
refusing to tolerate racist attitudes that mock the one that created us.
Let us choose to see those who disagree with us as God sees them, treating them with respect and dignity,
while helping them to open their eyes to see the beauty and value of life.
That is what it means to be pro-life.
This is why we need to be a voice.